The thing you are facing is bigger than your faith feels right now, and you need to hear something specific about that before this prayer goes any further. The size of the faith is not the measure of whether God can work through it. The mustard seed moves mountains. The widow's mite is received as the great offering. The small faith that is honest is worth more than the large faith that is performed. And the person who arrives at a Thursday morning, knowing their faith feels too small for what they face, and who comes here anyway, is doing the right thing. Because small faith brought here is more than large faith that stays home. The feeling of inadequate faith is almost always the feeling of the honest person whose faith is in the right place, on God rather than on themselves. The person who feels their faith is too small has understood something important. The thing they are facing requires more than their faith generates. That understanding is not failure. It is the doorway to the receiving that the self-reliant faith never finds. His word declares in the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20, that Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move." Nothing will be impossible for you. The mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds, that faith, not the large faith that the person who is performing spiritual adequacy carries, the small faith that is genuinely placed on the one who moves mountains. That is sufficient, that is enough, that is this morning's faith brought here. Before we enter this prayer, write in the comments, "Lord, my faith feels too small for what I face today, but I bring it here. Use what I have." Then like this video and subscribe. This community gathers every morning to bring what little they have to the one who multiplies what is brought. Come back tomorrow morning. Share this prayer with someone whose faith feels overwhelmed by what they are facing. Now let us bring the small faith to the mountain mover. Lord my God and my Father, I come before you on this Thursday morning, and I confess the honest condition of the faith. It feels small, smaller than the situation requires. The thing I am facing is substantial, real and significant, and carrying a weight that my capacity for trust does not fully match. I have prayed about it. I have believed about it. I have tried to hold the faith at the level the situation demands. And the faith that I can genuinely hold this morning is smaller than the mountain. I name this without shame. The naming is the bringing. The brought small faith is what the prayer is made of. And the prayer that knows its faith is small and brings it anyway is the prayer that the mustard seed was described for. What is the mountain? The situation that has been pressing on the faith. The diagnosis that arrived. The relationship that is in its most difficult place, the financial pressure that is not resolving at the rate the faith was supposed to produce, the career or ministry or personal direction that has not moved despite the prayer and the trust and the sustained belief, the thing that has been sitting there large and unmoved while the faith has been showing up every week and not yet seeing the movement. The mountain is specific, the small faith is specific, and the God who moves mountains is specific. All three in the same prayer. Right now. And the mountain that has not yet moved is not evidence that the faith failed. It is evidence that the mountain is still in the appointed time. The faith is not insufficient because the mountain is still there. The faith is doing its work. The mountain is in the mountain mover's hands. The time of the moving is his. The faith's work is the continued placing. The mountain's moving is his. Take a breath. The small faith is enough to bring. You brought it. It is here. The one who receives it does not measure it against the mountain's size. He receives it as the full offering of the person who had this much and gave all of it. Your word declares in the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 24, that the man said immediately, "I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief." Both sentences, together, the faith and the small faith's honest acknowledgement that it needs help. not the performance of the faith that has no doubts. The faith that knows it needs the help and asks for it. That prayer was answered. The Father's Son was healed. The small faith with the honest acknowledgement of its smallness was sufficient. Help me overcome my unbelief today. In the same breath as the faith. The both sentences prayer. The faith that is honest about being small. Lord, my faith feels too small for what I face today, but I bring it here. Use what I have. Father, I want to understand something about why the faith feels small in the face of the large thing. The faith feels small because it is being compared to the mountain rather than to the God. The mountain is large. The faith measured against the mountain is small. That comparison is the wrong one. The faith is not supposed to be larger than the mountain. It is supposed to be placed on the one who is larger than the mountain. The size of the faith matters only in relation to the one it is placed on, and placed on the one who made the mountains. Even the mustard seed is sufficient. Take a breath with that reframing. The faith is not small compared to God. Nothing is small compared to God. The mustard seed placed in the hand that formed the mountains is an entirely different thing from the mustard seed held in the hand of the person measuring it against the mountain. The placement is everything, and the placement is available right now in this prayer. On the mountain mover, that is the act of this Thursday morning. The small faith feels inadequate because it is measuring itself. But faith does not move mountains by being large. It moves mountains by being placed correctly. The small faith placed on the large God is the mountain-moving faith. The large faith placed on the person's own resources is the faith that cannot move anything. The measurement is not the size. The placement. Where is the faith placed this Thursday morning? Not on the person's capacity to believe with sufficient force, not on the strength of the feeling of trust, on the God who moves mountains. That placement is what the faith requires, and the small faith can be placed there as easily as the large faith can. The mustard seed faith placed on the mountain mover is the mountain-moving faith, not because the seed is impressive, because of what it is placed on. Your word declares in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1, that faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Confidence in what is hoped for, not confidence in the size of the faith. Confidence in the one the hope is placed on, and the confidence is in the unseen. The mountain that has not yet moved is the unseen outcome. The faith is the assurance of the movement before the movement is visible. Small faith, fully placed, is the assurance of the unseen outcome that the mountain's continued presence is trying to contradict. Place the faith today, small as it is, fully, on the one who moves mountains, and from that placement, the assurance. The confidence, not manufactured, received from the placement. Lord, my faith feels too small for what I face today, but I bring it here. Use what I have. Lord, I want to receive something about what God does with the small faith that is brought honestly. He multiplies it, not in the sense that the feeling of faith becomes larger through the prayer, in the sense that the small faith placed on the right foundation produces outcomes that far exceed what the faith's measured size would predict. The mustard seed grows into the tree that birds nest in. The 5 loaves feed 5,000. The widow's oil fills every jar. The pattern of the small offering received and multiplied is the pattern of the kingdom, and the small faith brought honestly this Thursday is in the pattern. The person who brings the small faith does not need to generate more faith before God can work. They need to bring what they have, and the bringing is the act, and the act is sufficient because the multiplication is not the person's work. It is God's response to the brought faith. The offered mustard seed received by the mountain mover is the mountain-moving event, not because of the seed, because of the receiver, and something about the felt smallness of the faith that is worth knowing. The feeling of the faith is not the faith. The person whose faith feels large may have more confidence in themselves than in God. The person whose faith feels small and who still chooses to place it on God rather than on their own capacity is performing the actual act of faith. The felt smallness is often evidence that the faith is correctly calibrated. It knows the mountain is beyond the person, and it places itself on the one who is not. Take a breath here. The small faith is correctly placed right now on the mountain mover. And the mountain mover is not waiting for the faith to feel larger before he acts. He is acting in the small faith Thursday of the person who brought the mustard seed. The action is already in motion. Even if it is not yet visible, the seed is planted, the growth has begun. Your word declares in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Perfect in weakness. The small faith is the weakness, and the power is made perfect in it, not despite it, in it. The small Thursday faith is the specific condition in which the power of God is made perfect, not the Monday full-tank faith. The small faith that knew its own smallness and brought itself here anyway. The power is being made perfect right now, in the brought small faith, in the Thursday honest condition, in the mustard seed that is being placed on the mountain mover in this prayer. Feel that, the power of God being made perfect in the weakness of the small Thursday faith, not in spite of the weakness, in it. The weakness is the specific condition the perfecting requires. The strong, self-sufficient faith does not need the power to be made perfect in it. The small, honestly brought faith is the specific vessel the power fills. And the filled vessel, however small, is the mountain-moving instrument, not because of its size, because of what filled it. Father, I want to ask for one practical thing for today, the next step, not the faith that moves the mountain today, the faith that takes the next faithful step in the direction of the mountain, trusting that the mountain is the mountain mover's problem rather than the small faith's obligation. The person with the small faith does not need to move the mountain. They need to take the next step, the letter that needs to be sent, the conversation that needs to be had, the work that needs to be done, the faithfulness that needs to be practiced in the next hour. The small faith person takes the next step. The mountain moving is God's work. The next step is the person's, and the next step taken in the small faith is more obedient than the large faith that is waiting for certainty before moving. The obedience of the small step is the faith in action, not the faith in feeling, the faith in the doing of the next thing in the direction the calling requires. And here is what the next step does to the small faith. It exercises it. The faith that is practiced in the taking of the small step becomes slightly larger than the faith that was waiting for the certainty before the step. Not because the outcome confirmed the faith, because the practice of the faith builds the faith. Every small step taken with the small faith is the building of the larger faith that the next season will require. The Thursday's small step is not the end of the faith. It is the training of it. Take the step today with what is here. The practice step builds what the waiting could not. Your word declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23 through 24, that the Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. The Lord makes firm the steps. The small faith person does not need to generate firmness. They need to take the step. The Lord makes it firm. The step might feel uncertain. The Lord makes it firm from underneath the uncertain feeling. The faith takes the step. The Lord provides the firmness. Take the next step today. With the small faith, the mountain is the mountain mover's. The next step is yours, and the Lord makes it firm. Father, as this prayer closes, I want to speak one more word to the person whose faith feels too small. Your faith brought you here. That is not a small faith. The small faith that shows up is larger than the large faith that stays away. The Thursday person who came here with the inadequate feeling trust and prayed the "I do believe, help my unbelief" prayer and brought the mustard seed to the mountain mover is the person whose faith scripture was written for. The heroes of Hebrews 11 did not have large faith. They had faith that was placed correctly, and that took the next step in the direction of the promise, even when the mountain had not moved yet. You are in that company this Thursday morning, with the small faith correctly placed. Next step available, mountain mover present, and something worth carrying specifically into the Thursday afternoon, when the mountain is still there at 2 o'clock. When the evidence has not yet cooperated with the faith that was placed this morning. That is not the disproof of the faith. That is the Thursday of the faith. The mountain-moving faith does not require the movement to happen on the Thursday where the faith was placed. It requires the continued placement through the Thursdays until the appointed time. The movement is on God's timeline. The placement is the person's Thursday work. And the person who keeps placing the small faith on the right foundation through the Thursdays is the person whose faith arrives at the appointed time, having been tried and not shaken. Place the faith again this afternoon when the mountain is still there, and tomorrow, and the Thursday after that. The placement is the faith. The movement is the promise. Your word declares in the book of Romans chapter 10 verse 17 that faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. Faith comes, it is received, not generated by the person who disciplines themselves into larger faith, received through the word. This prayer was the word this Thursday morning, and the faith that came through the hearing of it is the faith to take the next step. The small faith is bigger than it was when this prayer began, not because the feeling changed, because the placement was confirmed on the mountain mover. Where the small faith is always sufficient, where the mustard seed always grows. Lord, my faith feels too small for what I face today, but I bring it here. Use what I have. That is the Thursday declaration. The small faith was brought. It was received. It was placed on the one who makes it sufficient. The mountain is the mountain mover's problem. The next step is available, and the Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Take the step. May the Lord receive the small faith you brought here this morning and multiply it in the ways that mustard seeds always multiply when placed on the right foundation. May the next step be taken with the confidence that the Lord makes firm what the faith sets in motion. And may you arrive at Friday with the specific, quiet, deeply owned knowledge that the small faith was sufficient for every mountain the Thursday required. In Jesus' name, amen.